What is going on? I'm ZMOT, also known as a non-moose on the tubes. Do jump in that shop. I have already claimed it, but there is 2 days of instant training. You guys probably already know that, but figured I would let you know just in case. While you're there, please consider throwing code ZMOT in your shop. You guys have been doing that at a huge rate of late, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't have enough words to say thank you, but it is greatly, greatly appreciated. Kind of like these little tiny fixes that you don't have to come back to the UI, removing some button clicks there. And speaking of button clicks, they've actually removed the need or the ability to switch troops once you're mid-attack. This is a giant glaring pimple on the chin of Supercell at the second, and I think it won't be fixed this season. Don't have any confirmation of that, but I think that Supercell is on holiday for all of July, so I am treating it like a feature at the second. It means that you got to do a little bit of planning before you drop your troops. It means that you can't be as creative after you drop your troops. I'm getting some wins as a result of it, some losses. I'm going to show you 3 different tech trees, and I'm probably going to lose all my battles on all of them because I'm at that part of the season. So this one started at rank 6. It managed to get to rank 13 last season. That's why it started at rank 6. We have been winning a bit at the 2 engine room level. 2 engine room level, far easier to get wins than the 3. So if you're unsure, stay at the 2 for a little bit. You can get up to rank 13 without a heck of a lot of difficulty. And how I was doing that was using this troop loadout right here. So once I got to 13, I had enough tokens to go all the way to that grappler. That is what I did just to keep moving this account. Well, we have free instant training, and I'm going to show you the basics of what the heck I've been doing. Lots of losses since we went to 3, but back in, I think this is 2. Yeah, this is 2. We are dropping all of our stuff, clearing all of the things, and the warriors were dropped at the wrong time. That hotpot just ate them up. But the plus side of using warriors is that you don't get those tick 1 rifles back, which have no health and no damage. Warriors doing a little bit of goodness. Probably should not be using 3 boats of them at the 3 engine room level. We will figure that out. Need to play with that a little bit, and we need to do it before we attack for obvious reasons. So we're going to check the range of that grappler. Should be able to go something like this. Getting the flare out and then going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way across there. We only have tick 1 flares, so we should be good. They should spread out. And then we are going to drop some of these warrior dudes in, and their only purpose in life is to distract that grappler a little teeny tiny bit. Grappler. First step in the grappler is to throw some smokes up there. That is going to be somewhat helpful. We've got some warriors on that left-hand side, and that is where those warriors are super helpful. Just getting them up close and personal, delaying that grappler for half a second, and then clearing in warriors, getting in and popping up the hotpot. Again, this is not super duper amazing strats or anything, but there is a little bit of benefit. We can in fact just flare directly onto there, ignoring the hotpot, ignoring the boom cannon, and ignoring all of the things, and just getting our butts onto that engine room. Don't have to worry too much about anything on these attacks. I've been a little bit slower than I need to be, throwing smoke when there was no point, just not flaring nearly as quick as we need to, but hey, we got a draw out of the deal, so that is a bonus. Do pay close attention to whether or not your opponents have that defensive building damage. I don't think Squiggles did. Let's have a quick look. Did you? They only had 20%. So without that 50%, we can just basically ignore all of their things, and probably would have been better just to go full warrior. If you're going full warrior, there are problems without critters. Like, that hotpot is going to be difficult to deal with, but because we're using these beautiful Tanks don't have to worry quite so much about that. So we're going to go something like, and by the way, if you drop some warriors over here, you can get them straight onto that engine room. I've seen some people be very confused by that. We are at season 63 at the second. That means it probably should be known by now that troops will go to the closest building regardless of the ramps and the gaps and the holes and all the rest of it. So do use that knowledge to your advantage, going as the crow flies. Speaking of bugs, look at their engine rooms. That's a little bit strange. We can only see that it's something weird is going on there. We're going to bring back some warriors. These attacks, not super duper interesting, but we should be able to get that engine room by that left-hand side tank and all of our stuff on the right coming in. And this is the exact base that I used to get to gold on my other account yesterday. But of course, we did have a little bit more tokens and a little bit more spendy because we managed to get to rank 14 and 15 and all the rest of it. So our sniper towers were higher level, our defenses were higher level. We are going to win. Kavan got shot squarely in the dome. I'm guessing our opponent, they only brought 2 tanks over there. Grappler doing great things, and we should be able to get back into 13 with this base, probably up into 14. Actually, I say back into 13. We haven't been in 13 quite yet. So you know what? Just because yesterday's holiday and weird video and bugs, we'll do a little bit of extra goodness here. I almost switched to 3 boats of rifles. That would have been absolutely tragic. It is so disappointing when you click the button that you've been using for all of these seasons. It sucks so bad. I have given a bunch of wins away as a result. And now that we've got those warriors hammering away and losing a couple of them, we're going to bring some warriors on this right-hand side as well, trying to get as many different troops as we can. And some of you are probably shaking your heads out there, but lower levels do give warriors a shot. They mix in fairly well with tanks, and I know that a bunch of you are also just shuddering at the thought of using tanks. All warriors works as well, but it's not safe to do so. There are many times where I've gone all warriors and then they have a hot pot and I don't have med kits yet, and so it just goes so poorly. And with Kavan, by the way, I have seen some players using crystal clitters. Crystal clitters can get you through a hot pot and a microwaver and a flamethrower and a bunch of mines with Kavan, and we don't need to throw flares here, but we might as well, just for the sake of wasting all our gunboat energy, throwing the smoke for that extra little bit of damage. And we are going to lose to LL Cool LJ, I thinks. Yeah, they are 16 seconds faster. So that is how I'm doing things on this account. Probably need to get that next chest so I can get... Oh, I've got the GBE available. Look at that. Isn't that... I've also got the ability to upgrade some things. So not super smart on my part. Getting a little bit of extra gunboat energy. Reminder, don't upgrade that GBE until you upgrade that GBE. We are going to upgrade our snipers a little teeny tiny bit. Might as well go to tick 4. That's going to get us an extra sniper tower, or 2 for that matter. Throwing that down there and that up there, that's going to slow our opponents down a teeny tiny bit. And that's all you really need, is to slow them down a teeny tiny bit. Okay, into the account that is in gold. You probably recognize this layout. I threw that sniper tower in the wrong spot on the last one, but probably going to get absolutely crushed. The fact that I've got 2 chests sitting there, people have shock launchers, people have gone and gotten seekers and shock mines. I am leaning right now towards going for rocket choppas. That might be super painful, but we shall see. Lots of people going up, getting those seekers. That is a huge thing. People also going and getting bombardiers. I haven't decided quite yet. Now you'll see that I've been doing pretty darn good. think I was at like 16.47 here, and then I decided to go back in and lost 2 in a row, which hurt, but I should, in theory, be able to claim at least one of these in gold. I am using all tanks, and some of my wins are against people in 4 engine rooms because they have all warriors loaded. You can use all warriors at the 4 engine room level still somewhat. We are gonna give this a go. How are we gonna drop this? We are gonna drop something like 1, 2 here, 1 here, and then sending you guys over here. Now, quick note, once these 2 sniper towers are gone, our tanks can be dropped on this left, which will bring them to shoot over the gap, which will give us very, very good things. So we're gonna drop those guys up there. We're going to hold Kavan off for a second or 2, and then eventually we are going to bring Kavan up to there because he now will drop troops that will go up into that neighborhood if we've lost any tanks. But of course we haven't lost any tanks because there's no reason to lose tanks because this person does not have boom cannons. So Kavan gonna give us a little bit of extra oomph, and we can't throw critters because we haven't gotten that far yet, but at least we have troops coming from 3 different directions, which should help with that gosh darned shock launcher. And now we see those shock launchers, they can't decide what the heck they want to shoot. That's going to work to our advantage. I'm just going to keep pumping out second wind troops. They are not going to do anything useful for us, but on the plus side, we do have these tanks coming in hot and heavy. Decent times. Come on, dudes. Let's go. Not super great because I forgot to throw a flare. Should have flared that engine room a long time ago, but we should still maybe pick up the win. Maybe. So a very important detail there, dropping those tanks on that 4 engine room so that they range up there. So by the way, if you drop warriors there, they're not going to go where you want them to go. You need someone to have a building that is on this wall so that your troops think they can shoot there, and by dropping them in this neighborhood, they know that that is the closest building. So I'm sure you guys all know that. I am covering obvious details, but like I said, there are still people who are saying things like, why did my troops go over there, and why did they go to that building? And as the crow flies, they last couple seasons that wasn't the case. They've kind of flip-flopped with troop targeting a little bit, but it's back to how it was for like the first 55 seasons or something like that. This person, your tanks will go target that boom cannon, so we can get some goodness there. We're gonna go something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, 3 over there, because this person is trying to get our troops to go into here, and we are going to stop that by sending some over there. Kavan probably should bring us some rifles just to try to get some single shot things to slow their roll, and then also trying to pop that hot pot and deal with all of the rest of the things. I'm kind of torn whether having Kavan bring back 3 tanks is good or having him bring back a bunch of rifles. At the second, rifles probably better, but definitely need a oh no, all of our stuff went around the loops. There's only enough room for a couple of those things up there, so we're going to keep smoke on there for half a second as the rest of our troops come on in. And now we've got something to distract that boom cannon. I want the rest of my tanks to be able to go across into there, throwing a smoke on top of it just to try to speed things up by half a second or 2, and then flaring. Our flares are only tick 1, which is a giant problem. It is amazing how terrible it is with tick 1 flares. They have been known to do half-decent things, but as you see there, having to throw 40 flares to get onto that engine room, not ideal. Kind of a neat thing showing how all of our troops did not get where we wanted them to, and even still, tanks, we weren't going to get 3 minutes, 2 seconds against that person. I told you warriors were useful, right? Look at that. Just sending warriors in, completely ignoring that microwave and just crushing our base, flaring around a bunch of our mines, and great hit. Please don't share that hit with anyone. We have gotten our first chest in gold though, which is massive. We can get a bit more troop health and probably don't need any troop health. I'm going to take my flares to tick 2. Not sold yet on taking them higher than that. Medkits, don't care. If you're using warriors, medkits are great, but with tanks, not an issue. Now you see that I've got tick 1 warriors back there. That's why I'm not throwing warriors out there. That is my 3 engine room second account, still in gold by the skin of our teeth, thankfully. And here is the last of my accounts. This one, I managed to get into 14 barely. It is all warriors all the time, all Kavan all the time, no boom cannons, no flares, which don't go 4 engine rooms without flares, my goodness. We don't have shock launchers quite yet because I'm 3 tokens short. But again, same deal. Knowing where the heck your warrior is going to go, so important. So our warriors are probably going to go from here to there, which is going to be super duper frustrating. Maybe. The problem is we need to go through that hot pot, and then the range, that is actually closer than that. So we're going to save some warriors to go right. We're going to do 5 on this side. We're going to throw some critters on there, and we're going to throw this over here and some critters there, and then some critters over there to distract that hot pot for half a second, and then all the medkits to get that hot pot gonzo. And now we are doing decently. Now I think they are going to pull out and go to the left. Yes, indeed they did. So that is okay. Getting some critters over there just to try to get those warriors that went to the left-hand side doing decent things, and then throwing another medkit out. Let's get some more warriors out from our Dr. Kevin Kavan friend. Probably should have pre-smoked our warriors a little bit over there to get them onto that flamethrower a little bit faster, and then just pounding away on the engine rooms. 3 minutes, 7 seconds against a hot pot and a bunch of mines, and pretty happy with that attack. But it was very crucial to know which way our warriors were gonna go, and Fabian with tanks probably had tanks loaded just in case he went against a more dirty base, but as a result, we picked up the win because Fabian couldn't change troops. I am being overly optimistic about that air quote feature. It's clearly a bug. Like, I'm not even going to pretend like it's not a bug, but at the same time, I'm really trying my darndest to not let the negativity in. Don't let the demons in. There is all sorts of good stuff that can be done if you just try to close your eyes to all the negativity, and that's what I've been working on the last little bit. So I hate that feature, but it's made this season unique, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to drop some critters there, trying to keep all of our dudes alive as they go towards that back section. Those critters doing a great job to help our troops out. Where the heck are all our warriors? Okay, so all the guys that went left are clearly dead. That is not ideal whatsoever, but we should still be able to pick up a halfway decent time. And this is where not having flares is so frustrating, but we can get that boom cannon distracted and then hopefully get a somewhat decent time. No flares with warriors means that you probably want to keep your warriors mostly together, especially against hot pots and microwaves. We are probably going to lose this one. Yes, we did by 1 second by screwing up that left-hand side, but these things happen. So now the important detail. We are going to be able to get into shock launchers, but do we have enough goodness. This was the important detail. Saving up those tokens so that we can get 2 shock launchers. 2 shock launchers, oh, so critical. And we are going to drop 1 there and 1 over back in that neighborhood. You know what? Actually, I think I copied this base off somebody. Yeah, there we go. So Commander J Doom was rocking this base. He's got his shock launcher next to the flamethrower and then in front of that flamethrower. So we are going to alter things up a little teeny tiny bit. One more quick detail. The leaderboard sucks. I hate this leaderboard. Yes, we can see that we're at 7688, which is great to see. I love that feature, don't get me wrong. But when you're trying to copy a base and you scroll up, and let's go have a look at, who can we look at up here? Come on, let's keep scrolling. Let's look at Lolo's base. We look at Lolo's base and we're trying to find all of their mines. So we're clicking in and around and we realize there's a mine right there. So we come back and we tweak our base a little bit. And before, if we clicked the leaderboard, it would have taken us back to that person. But now it takes it back to us, which means that trying to copy a base and trying to find people's mines is super frustrating. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Do you like that feature? Do you not like it? I love that we are on the leaderboard, but I like the old functionality of the leaderboard better. So do let me know if you like it, if you hate it, and obviously this is a new feature, so they can tweak it, I think, maybe. So do give me your feedback and I'll pass it along to the devs. I've been holding off doing so because I hate it doesn't mean that you guys are going to hate it. So now, where the heck do we throw these guys? We're going to go something like this and something like that, and we're going to hold Kavan for a second. If I drop him on this left, maybe I can get a warrior to run in and go to that shock launcher, but probably not. And now we are going to hold Kavan. We don't need Kavan at the second. We can throw a med kit in that neighborhood. And then eventually, we're going to drop Kavan about, let's go with now. And he should hopefully be able to bring us some troops along that left-hand wall as all of our warrior dudes get all of that stuff cleared. Come on, dudes. Turn back, go back, there we go. That's exactly what we were after. And now we can throw some critters over in that neighborhood and then back in that neighborhood and just try to distract that shock launcher for a second or two as our troops start to split and clear all of the engine rooms with no input whatsoever from us. So leaving Kavan till late sped up that left-hand side a little bit. I feel like maybe trying to do all sorts of tricky things without flares. So to summarize, there's a bunch of different tech trees. I am behind many players. This person looks like they're using Crystal Shield, which is quite interesting. Jacko Boy, I think, got the best of us, though. Flares would be so nice. That is one thing that I need to decide on this account. Do I go back and get flares, or do I just grind it out and get into those seekers? And by the time I get into seekers, people with shock mines and defensive building damage and shock launchers, I don't know that if that's the right call, but like I'm doing 2 separate accounts, so maybe I'll go up into bombardiers on this one. And the negative nodes got to give up 5 machine guns, which is going to make this thing beyond naked. And then I would have to give up, if I wanted to go to bombardiers, give up some probably troop health. I would actually know what, I'd probably give up GBE to be completely honest. But couple bugs, couple features, couple interesting tidbits. So thank you to all of you yesterday who threw in the comments. Hopefully that weird, awkward minute-and-a-half video helped your tech trees. I just wanted to share because I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. I threw it in the community post, but community posts I find just aren't super duper useful. Speaking of not super duper useful, all of these warriors against all of those, this is going to be super thankful that we've got critters at the second. We're going to send you guys over there with Dr. Kevy Kavan and a med kit and some critters back there and some critters in there. there comes Dr. Kevy Kavan. We are trying our darndest to use warriors without flares. It is not super duper sexy, not super duper fun, but by keeping them mostly together, I think we're going to be able to clear through this base decently quickly, and now we just need to keep our medkits alive and well. And here's what we're going to do. We are going to pre-smoke into there. We're going to throw a critter back there and try to get a medkit onto right there. The reason why I didn't smoke a little bit later was because otherwise your troops will run past onto that flamethrower, and then you have nothing left for troops as they run over top of that hot pot. So decent attacks, hopefully something there that sprigs an interest with you. We are going to take the win against Mad T Win. And again, they probably would have switched to warriors if they had invested in warriors, but it's impossible to know what your opponent's going to have. So you just have to load the troops that you feel most confident in and just hope for the best. Weird season. And one of the pluses that I should mention in going for Seekers or Rocket Choppas is that you don't have to worry about which troop combo you're going to use. Right now with tanks, they're slow, so you want to go with Warriors and you're not sure which troops to use. With Bombardiers, for that matter, or Seekers or Rocket Choppas, that bug's going to be slightly less of an issue because you're going to use 8 boats of Seekers, let's be honest. You're going to use probably 6 boats of those beautiful orange choppers, maybe with some warriors out front, or some maybe 8 boats with Kavan bringing some rifles out front. Anyways, the bug is going to be slightly less of an issue once you get into different troops, but it's never going to go away this season. So that is it from me. Hopefully my optimism didn't rub you the wrong way, but just there's no other option. I mean, we can be angry. So sorry, story time. My kid, there's a book that I read to my kids probably 13 years ago at this point, because my kid just turned 15, which is bananas. It's about these monks, and this woman asks to be carried across the river, and if any of you have read this story to your kids, please give me a comment. Anyways, lady asks to be carried across a river, and young monk says no, and then gets grumpy about how dare she ask to be carried across the river, and old monk picks her up and carries her. And the moral of the story was, just get it over with. He basically ends up being, and I'm not doing this story any justice, he ends up saying something along the lines of, you've been carrying her for hours, grumbling about her, and I just picked her up and carried her across the river, and I was done with it. So terrible take on the story, but it stuck with me in a big way. You can be grumpy about things for days and days, or you can just lean in, and there's nothing we can do about this. Hopefully they do come fix it. I guess the one thing you can do is not play the season or quit the game, but I am gonna lean in and just crush some people and get crushed, and hope that my troops are going to be better than their troops. So story time with ZMOT is done. Hopefully you guys stuck around, and if any of you, I think it's called like Zen Shorts, I believe the book is called. I highly recommend reading it to your kids. There were a bunch of teeny tiny lessons that have stuck with me as an adult, and helped my kids a little teeny tiny bit in the process as well. So we are going to pick up the win on this account. Shock launchers doing great things, as you can see there. This person getting stuck in our shock launcher, but eventually going to get that engine room down. Our warriors were quick, spreading them out, using medkits, and my medkits on this account probably tick 3. That's decent. Definitely, if you're using warriors, do upgrade those medkits. And if you have any suggestions on what the heck I should do with any of my 3 accounts, please do let me know. I am ZMOT. Thank you for coming in for story time. Definitely did not do it justice, but do throw code ZMOT in your shop. Like I said, you guys have been awesome about that. And just a quick note before we leave, I don't work for Supercell. I am a boom tuber. I do have access to sneak peeks, but I do not work for Supercell. So anytime that I am trying to be positive about these bugs, it is not because Supercell has told me to do so or because I'm paid to do so. It's just how I am choosing to roll this season. So I know you're frustrated. I know it sucks, and I agree 1,000%. It's stupid. It's terrible. They should do better bug checking. They should have better quality assurance, but for whatever reason, they don't. And I just have to, again, lean in and assume that they are bringing in fun, new, good features and having to deal with crappy code in the process. And they probably rushed it a little bit to get it out before their vacation month started. And human nature, I get it, but it sucks and it's not ideal, but that is just how we are, and there's nothing we can do about it. So choose the positivity. I shall talk to you soon. I'm ZMOT. Thank you for coming in. Listen to the rambles that definitely weren't there yesterday. Peace.